What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Facts and Stats. Will be episode 90. Most importantly, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do have a guest here with me before we get into what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, and we're going to go ahead and get going.
Hi, my name's Kiana Matthews. I'm a Celtics fan.
Okay. All right, short, sweet, and simple. Kiana, thank you. I do appreciate you coming on Facts and Stats today. Uh, Today we'll be discussing the NBA offseason, some of our favorite moves that took place this offseason. That's not that our team did not including our teams. Put it like that. Speaking on, you said you were a Celtics fan, so that's important. We're going to speak on Jaylen Brown and his new Supermax extension that he signed. He's now the NBA highest paid player in NBA history. But also, you guys did a move that a lot of people did not expect or didn't foresee, I'll say, with trading Marcus Smart and getting Porzingis and losing Grant Williams. So we'll discuss some of those things today. And then what a lot of people around the NBA world or media, I'll say, is waiting on, have been talking about the last weeks, is the trade request of James Harden and Damian Lillard. So we're going to get your thoughts on that, get my thoughts on that, and then we'll wrap this episode up. Again, thank you for coming on. With you being a Celtics fan, tell the people, how did you even become a Boston Celtics fan?
My dad loves the Celtics, watches the Celtics, so I just grew up watching it with him.
Okay, that's fair. Those that know me, you all know I am a Miami Heat fan, so it's obviously some great feelings for me in that aspect. Before we before we get into that, when we bring up JB and the contract and Porzingis, we'll have some conversations around that. I do want to go ahead and start off with the NBA off season though. But the finals ended last month, last month June, where the Denver Nuggets took down the Miami Heat 4-1 in the NBA Finals. Big shout out to Jokic, Murray, MPJ, and all those guys, Aaron, and all those guys that they have there, and then Bruce Brown getting paid as well. And speaking of Bruce Brown getting paid, that can lead us into the NBA offseason. So, with that being said, there's a little opening question that I have for you. What's your favorite move this offseason, or favorite moves this offseason so far that took place that's not including your team?
I think the Mavs getting Grant, I think that's going to be really, really good for them. Really good for them because I'm assuming he's going to start. So that's huge to pick up a starter. And he didn't get paid that much, or not as much as he wanted. So I think they got him on a good contract. And I think Strus going to Cleveland also was a good pickup for them to try to get some sort of shooting over there. So those are two moves I think that were good.
Okay, yeah. Us losing Max Strus, I have a friend that I know. Shout out to her, 1110. I'm gonna get her on here one day. She does not like Max Strus at all, but me, I'm the opposite side of that. I was a Max Strus guy. I used to like Max Strus. I'm happy for him, and I think that he will pay or give Cleveland offense the big outside shooting boost that was needed. Now you're going to swap Isaac Okoro being in the corner to now Max Strus being in the corner / perimeter. So I think that can benefit them as well. And in the Grant Williams thing, spot on. I like it too. Not one of my favorites because it is what it is. But I also glad that he's going alongside to play with Luka and Kyrie. But for me personally, my favorite move this off. I don't know if I want to put this with a second question. My favorite move this offseason, I'll just say it was the Phoenix Suns. Favorite move this offseason so far. Phoenix Suns getting Bradley Beal. Like he said this week, he didn't see this trade to Phoenix happening at all. He didn't know it was about to happen. He was like, why are they about to trade Devin Booker? That's what he originally thought the trade was going to be for around.
Yeah, he has a no trades
Yeah.
clause. He was just shocked that he went to the Suns. Is this for real?
I didn't believe him either. Like, I'm like, saying, get out of here. Like,
Repeat that.
yeah, so I mean, I didn't believe him either, but he said it. So I'm just quoting what he said. That's my favorite move this offseason. Whenever you go into the offseason and you lose to Denver in 6, and credit, Devin Booker was playing out of his mind, and you lose to Denver in 6, and Chris Paul gets hurt again. DeAndre Ayton is not looking too well. I'll say that. And then you go into the offseason not having much flexibility, cap space, draft picks, all that, etc. And you pull off a Bradley Beal, and you pull off every single thing else that they did. You to off the top of my head, Bobo off the top of my head, Brandon
You're
Goodwin.
taking my answer for the
Oh,
second
I'm
time.
sorry. Yeah, that yeah.
What?
But Bradley Beal is my favorite move this off season.
stick to Brad.
Right. I'm gonna keep it at Brad. That's my bad. Bradley Beal, my favorite move this offseason. Yeah, that is now a big three. Three-star players on one team, and they'll be together for the next 3 to 4 years. So hopefully they bring a championship back to Phoenix. And I think that's the only answer that I got for favorite move this offseason. I don't have two. If I had to say one more, just to show somebody some love, I'll circle back to Bruce Brown. I do think him getting that, I think $23 million contract over 2 years. That's a big move for Indiana, who is deemed to be one of the better young teams coming up in the league, on top of drafting.
I'm gonna watch next year.
Oh yeah, for sure. They beat us a couple of times. I think they beat y'all too.
Yes,
Yeah, I think they beat us and y'all in like the same week or something. I don't know. Same month, same week, something. So yeah, shout out to Bruce Brown, shout out to Bradley Beal. That was a little opener, but we're going to circle right and keep it right at the off season. So as far as all the teams now, not just one player or players going to this place and that place, who do you think out of all the teams in the NBA had the best off season so far?
I think Phoenix for me. When they got Kevin Durant, I was kind of like, okay, how are they going to build out the rest of the team? Just before this offseason, I was very just interested to see how that would work. And then they pulled out and got Brad, and I was like, well, now I'm even more interested to see how the heck they're gonna build a team around these people. And for how much money they had, for what they can sign people for, I think they got the best out of what was out there to get, or the best with what they had to work with. I'm interested to see how it meshes together on the court, but as far as the like people that they were able to get off that men's, I think they did really well. I think the only thing that they probably would have like sent out of the ballpark is if they would have actually been able to flip AM for some like pieces that they could have used. I don't think that that's happening anytime soon. But aside from not being able to get off of that contract, I think that, like you said, the Bowls, I think the good win that they got in the Beal trade, um, help me. I'm trying to think of some other players that they got.
Eubanks,
Yeah,
Eric Gordon.
yeah. So
Dang, that's a
they
good.
got some good pieces. So interested to see how that works on the court, with having Bill, Book, KD, and AN all, trying to get their shot off as well. But I think they did the best with what they could get. And I think why they were able to do that is because like Boston can only get vet men's, and a lot of the contending teams can only get vet men's. But I think what was unique for Phoenix was that they could offer legit playing time.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it makes it a little bit more appealing to take the pay cut when you have the playing time to maybe play yourself into a bigger contract. And so I think that was the reason why they were able to get some of the pieces that they got.
Well said, well said. And I think that played a big decision, and the one of the guys that I said, Eric Gordon, and why he chose Phoenix. I think he chose Phoenix for less money over Golden State for more money, if I'm not mistaken. And the playing time plays a lot in there. And Phoenix, Eric Gordon should play 25 to 30 minutes a night. And Golden State, I can't say the same thing was going to happen. So shout out to you for that. Great answer. For me, I'm going to shout out two young teams. I think their offseason that they had has been fantastic, phenomenal. And the reason why I'm shouting out these teams is because I'm including their draft picks. First, I'm going to start with the Utah Jazz. I think they had a fantastic offseason. A lot of people expected them to tank last year, me included. When they did all they did, when they traded Donovan Mitchell, when they traded Rudy Gobert, and you get Lauri Markkanen as your best player, and then Colin Sexton on that contract as well. I think 464 in a sign and trade, and Jordan Clarkson will still be in there, Taylor Horton Tucker, and so forth. They added three guys or three guys in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. Bryce Piper was an early second, but three guys in the first round with Keontae George. That's my guy. They also added Taylor Hendricks and then Bryce Sensabaugh out of Ohio State, and then they added John Collins just for the hell of it. Whenever you can get a guy like John, I'm not saying he was I think in his first 2 years he was fine in Atlanta. Towards the end of the last 2 3 seasons, he wasn't that well. But you can get John for the what you got him for, and what I think Rudy Gay. You go ahead and take it. So be it. So what? So I love everything about the Jazz. I think they're one of my teams that a part of the favorite offseason so far.
Excellent at rebuilding.
Say that again, Danny Ainge. What?
Excellent at rebuilding.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So Utah, big shout out to Utah, man. They're gonna be a good team. And then so a lot of mixed emotions with this answer from a lot of as far as the respective fan bases and things and whatnot. But the Houston Rockets, I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. When you get the opportunity to add Fred VanVleet and then you take Dylan Brooks on as well, the contracts are another story. And then also
Like that? You like what they do?
the contracts are another story. But I do like adding Fred. I personally like adding Fred. The Dylan Brooks, the 4 year deal, it is what
What
it
about
is.
adding Dylan?
Say that again.
So what about adding Dylan?
Yeah, the Dylan. It's I gotta see how that's gonna go, but I think he can be a good guy defensively for them. And I think when you're a young team and you're trying to turn losing habits to winning habits, or losing culture to a winning culture, you need certain guys or certain pieces in the locker room that can help upscale that or help you get to that quicker. If Dylan Brooks was not there, who was guarding the opposing team on the perimeter, best player on a night to night basis? They drafted the Thompson twin, Amon, and he's going to be damn good as well. He's a part of the reason why I chose the Rockets. But who's going to be guarding the opposing team's best player with a coach like Udoka, who took big pride and credit for defense and his stint in Boston? I think Dylan Brooks can help bolster that. I'll say that, along with Jabari Smith, along with Fred VanVleet as well. So I'm not saying I'm a big fan of the money. That's a whole nother story. But they had to spend money anyway. So it is what it is. And again, I don't think they will be in a situation to where, just because Dylan Brooks he's getting paid $80 million, he has to start and or close games. I'll put it like that. He's not in no situation to where he's a bona fide closer. So I don't think whoever's playing better, on a
Did
night
you
to.
see the article where they said that he wants to be more involved in the offense?
Yeah, I seen that's why he left Memphis. I'm not a fan of that because I don't like his offensive game. Now credit, if you want to circle back to 2 3 years ago when Memphis played Utah, I think in the first round, Dylan Brooks was playing fine in the playoffs. I don't know if you remember that, he was playing fine in the playoffs. I think he was averaging like 20 that series or something like that. Uh,
I remember that.
oh yeah, let me make sure I'm not just talking. Hold on,
I remember that.
yeah, Dylan. Let me make sure I'm not just talking. Let me pull up Dylan Brooks.
I believe you. That's what you say he did. That's what he did.
Yeah, I think they was playing. Utah in the first round with Ja. It was Ja's first playoff series when Dylan Brooks did that. Game logs, career playoffs. Hold on, while we right here. Utah. Yeah. Well, damn. Yeah. So I was spot on. Okay. Game 1 he had 31 points. Game 2 he had 23. Game 3 27. Game 4 21. Game 5 27. So I got a good memory. That's probably running out to about 22, 23 points per game. So shout out to Dylan Brooks for that. Hopefully you hear this. I showed you some love today. So in that series, he did display an offensive game. Now he just didn't like being the fourth or fifth option in Memphis. I don't know why. Why would you not be fine with being behind Bane, Ja, and Jaren in the scoring workload? But hey, he thinks otherwise for himself, and he probably would be able to display some offensive game more in Houston. So those are my two favorite. The Rockets and everything that they're doing, and then the Utah Jazz and everything that they're doing. Obviously, there's money more that I can go to, but that's that. Now to take away from the offseason so far, thank you for answering the first two questions. Let's really get to the nitty gritty because me and you've been talking for some time now, and I've been thankful to know you for about a year, and obviously since we met each other, our teams played each other in the playoffs back-to-back years. It was wild. A Game 7 in 2022, a Game 7 in 2023. But Jaylen Brown, it
I love Jaylen.
no. To me, it's like you have mixed emotions with Jaylen Brown. So like we're gonna clear the air right here because when I met you, you seemed like a super Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum fan. You seemed like you would never trade either one of those guys, and you didn't even want to trade him for Kevin Durant. And now it's like you're at the point to where he's probably not going to be in Boston for the rest of his career. He's probably not going to be in Boston long term.
Which I thought that prior to the contract extension.
Right. So now the contract is in play now. Let's talk about the contract overall. How are you feeling about everything? How you feel about Jaylen Brown?
I love Jaylen Brown. I will start off by saying that. At first, I thought it was like taking a while because I thought like Brad is doing his Brad thing and he's gonna get us some sort of a discount off of the Supermax. That's what I thought initially. And then the articles started to come out and they all said the same thing, that the holdup is the like extra stuff. Like the Supermax, he's getting the Supermax. It's the extra stuff. So then I just had to come to grips with he's getting the Supermax. He's going to be on the team. He's not going anywhere. You're my guy. I'm back to defending you. Like, that's just this what it is. That's how I operate. I'm a team girl. You're on my team. To
be fair, I'm gonna give you your flowers. You're the first person. I think you started your campaign in probably December. You're the first person I've seen saying All NBA JB. So I want to give you your flowers on that.
I started off with the All Star agenda, and then I was like, "This is he's an All Stars. I'm not pushing this anymore." And I said All NBA, and I got laughed at. I got told that was ridiculous, and All NBA second team, might I add. But I always was in my position. I understand that for the team, it would be great if he would have taken a discount, but I understand from JB's position, like he's not going to take a discount. Why would he do that? I always said, get the All NBA and we'll figure it out on the back end. So Brad did what he could do. He doesn't have a player option. It is 5 years. It is fully guaranteed. So JB got what he wanted on that end. He has something where he gets paid $7,777,000, whatever on July 1st. So that's the little stuff that they were working out on the contract. That's why it took so long. But I'm happy he's gonna be here. It's interesting, there are flaws in JB's game, and he does frustrate me sometimes because his main thing that he provides is being an efficient scorer. The defense used to be really elite. It has fallen off. And if you're not scoring efficiently, last year it was, what can you do for me? And that was the main issue that I have. Yesterday is when he signed it and they had the press conference and he spoke countless times about defense. So I'm hoping that he takes that to heart and his defense, picks up. I don't want to trade JB. People have given me packages, and all the packages, I don't want the players that they want to give me. So I don't mind keeping Jaylen Brown. I wish we could have got him on a discount because it makes moving him in the future harder. Because I don't think he wants to be here forever. So, we're kind of put in a situation 2-3 years from now if he wants to move on with a $70 million contract. But I'm happy that he's here. I think that everybody needs to understand that it's, Jason Christopher Tatum's team, and that you are the second option. I don't care if you're making $500 million. I think if we can all get on that same page, I think we'll have a phenomenal year next year.
Oh, wow. That felt like a shot, though, to JB fans, though.
It's not to anybody's fans. It's
okay.
How I feel in general. Like, there's a number one option, there's a number two option, and then there's the team.
What did that article say about like 2 weeks ago? Didn't it say that Jaylen Brown feels like he's on the same level or something like that as Jason Tatum? What did the article say? What I'm talking about.
Yeah, but he said that since day one.
What did he say again? What was the word for word? Not word for word, but like the best.
I don't know word for word, but the gist of it was that him and JT are equals. That's how I took it, and they're just not. Mm-hmm. Why are you looking like that? Do you think they're equal?
No, I don't think they're equal. I'm not saying I think they're equal. Nah, I just I mean, he feels one way, you feel one way. You know what I'm saying? It is what it
I
is.
think always that he's always spoken like that. They do like the little interviews if you go on like the team page or whatever, and they talk about playing each other one on one, or like Jason thinks he's like one of the best basketball players in the world, and JB thinks that he is right along there with him. But if this isn't a new thing, he's always felt that way. So that article, it didn't, nothing in the article shocked me.
Right.
Just if how Jaylen has been speaking, he's always had the confidence that he's just as good as everybody else, and I don't have an issue with him having confidence.
Mm.
I have an issue with him not understanding the hierarchy of the basketball team. That is an issue.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. My quick thoughts on it. I don't really have much to say. First off, I view him as one of my guys. But
My God.
I obviously have facts and stats, and for those that don't know, I do Twitter Spaces every day at 11 a.m. on facts and stats, and I built a community. And there's so many Boston fans, so there's so many different things that I would like to say about him, but I just limit myself to saying about him because
What's coming out right now?
listen, again, first and foremost, credit, big shout out to Jaylen Brown. I'm happy for him. The way he came in the league and how he was behind, obviously Tatum, but Gordon Hayward as well. At a point, Marcus Morris was eating into his minutes. It was just so many different things that he had to deal with Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier, Kyrie Irving, and on and on and on. And at the end of the day, 6 years down the line, or maybe even 7, I'm sorry, 6 or 7 years down the line, he upped his game and evolved his game to now you can say on a night-to-night basis, he can get me 25. On a night-to-night basis, he's going to average somewhere, or for season-to-season basis going forward, he's going to average somewhere between 25 and 27. Most people didn't foresee that like 5 years ago, to be honest. And this was a guy that I was tweeting about like
Yeah.
five,
When
6 years.
that's it. You can check my tweets. I live on the East Coast, so I had no idea who Jaylen Brown was. So when Danny Ainge drafted him as high as he did, I was livid. Livid. And the tweets are still there if y'all want to go check. I was livid.
Yeah.
So to go from there to where we are now, I have nothing bad to say about Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, me personally, I just like how he upped his game in the many ways that he scores the basketball and how he still is a fan of the mid-range game, which sort of kind of like almost a lost art in this league right now. I love how he plays when he's getting downhill. He can shoot from the outside pretty well, and obviously the flaws where people were speaking on, like you were saying, but you didn't dive into it, the left hand dribbling and obviously the playmaking. I don't really have to speak on those things. I'm more so the type of guy is, and we're going to get to this right now actually, with the trade around Marcus Smart and Porzingis and all that. I'm more so the type of guy, if you have a guy that you can see that, he can't initiate, for example, when Jason Tatum had to work the high pick and rolls for like a whole entire quarter against us, he can do that. You cannot say Jaylen Brown, yeah, go do that for me right now and get efficient offense out of that. I think when you're in a situation to where you know that a guy can't do that, you put him on the court with point guards that can distribute the ball well, not only for himself as far as Jaylen Brown, but also your other teammates. So, and not really rely on JB to do things like that. So, people would say when Tatum's not on the court, and you are one of these people, when Tatum's not on the court, the offense goes to shit. When JB is on the court, and so forth. But I think that's probably due to not having a playmaker or a guy that can distribute the ball well, that can keep it rolling. Like Malcolm Brogdon was not utilized, and you can speak to this more. But you guys was one of the teams that I watched the most this year. But Brogdon was not utilized to come in and be that playmaker or point guard. I'll just say floor general that he showed that he can be in Indiana. He also showed flash that he can be in Milwaukee when he had a 50, 40, 90 season as well. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. I'm happy for JB though, at the end of the day. Now we're going to get to the nitty gritty, where a big question that I want to, or things I want to talk to you about, as far as, and it was one more thing that I was trying to talk to you about around the Boston Celtics, but your team ultimately traded who most probably thought was a lifer. You call him Mr. Love and Trust. Marcus Smart got shipped to Memphis, and you got Kristaps Porzingis back. Just talk about that real quick. How do you think the fit with Porzingis ultimately will be?
First, I'm still grieving over the loss of Marcus Smart. Um, I think it's going to take me a good while of the season to like get over the fact that he's not on the team. But I think KP is a good addition. I think the rim protection will be great. I think the defense will be a nice addition. I think helping us to get to bust the zone that we had so much trouble with last playoffs. I think the addition of him will help that. And just like I said last offseason, I thought that we would get another big. I didn't think we would get a big the caliber of KP, but it definitely last year we were guard heavy, and it seems like Brad wanted to shift that, and the ball will be in JT's hand more. Derek White will have to step up more. I think Malcolm will have to be a better playmaker this year, and it looks like he, has tried to strengthen, the Rob and the double big lineup with Rob, KP, and Al.
Okay. I'm glad. Dang, I gotta remember that timer. I'm glad that you're liking the move. I remember when we first talked after the trade. You felt like you guys went lateral. You still feel that way?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, honestly, to read online. According to Twitter, we got worse.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you listen to podcasts, everybody keeps saying that we got worse. So, it kind of makes me a little happy because I'm like, Marcus Smart is a needle mover, honey, okay? Because Grant Williams was getting DNPs, and all I heard was Smart was a fake DPOY that was a flopper that took bad threes. So I'm just trying to figure out how we go to that to a needle mover. We added a big that could play defense and give us 20 points on a given night, and we got worse. It's very interesting to me. But I think that it was a lateral move. Like, I think that we were like really good last year, and I think it's hard to like go from really good to the best roster in the league to like to go up from that. I think that's just a little ridiculous. But I think that I have to see. I think a lot of our issues aren't player. It's not the roster. It's not the skill set of the players. Like, I don't think that that's our biggest issue. I think if we had basketball players that play smart basketball, I honestly think we could have just ran it back with who we had last year, honest to God. So to me, I don't really care about the roster. I don't really care about the regular season. I want to see how it comes together and how they play. I want to see what changes Joe implements. The offensive system is different. Do we get back to the defense? But those are things that I think I would have had those same questions with the roster last year, keeping Marcus, or with KP. So I think the roster last year was great. I think the roster right now is great. That's not the main issue for the team, in my personal opinion.
Okay. I like it. I mean, I like what you said, and most importantly, you kept that same energy.
Like it. It seems like you didn't really agree.
Nah, I thank you for it. My dog was going, barking wild. Thank you for keeping it going while he was barking. I had to give him a couple rubs real quick. But me personally, now, I took a couple things away from what you just said. You said everybody basically like showing Marcus Smart love after last year. You heard he was a flopper, which he is. You heard that he was a fake DPOY, which his defense was not the same as 2 years ago. You heard that he takes bad threes, which he does.
That has nothing to do with the defense that he played when he won the DPOY award.
Right, but if somebody wins the DPOY award and then come out looking like something the next following season,
but it wasn't just defense as a player overall. That was one of Marcus Smart's very down year overall as a player. It wasn't just his defense.
Okay, so those are the three things that whatever you're hearing is like it's actual factual though. He takes bad threes, yeah.
Okay, but I'm just saying there's a person who has all those flaws cannot be a needle mover for a team. Those two do not correlate. It does not make any sense. What? I don't understand. People are saying that we got worse.
No,
hold on. People are saying we got worse because of a guy who didn't play for us a majority of the year, who only played because of injury, if we're going to be very frank about it.
Okay.
Got DMPs for 89% of the year. And a guy that when he played for us, people complain about how bad he was for the team. You remove those two people and we got worse. The math it's not mathing to me.
Okay. I mean, again, I see where you're coming from. Don't think that I'm just trying to be on the other side and call it to debate or something like that. Nah, I see where you're coming from. But you're speaking on it from the aspect of you guys losing those players, or them being in potential different situations and them being needle movers in those new situations. Which one are you speaking
No,
toward?
I'm saying that we have lost them.
Right.
Sentiment around the NBA on the podcast for other teams, on podcasts for just like the NBA analyst or whatever, the Zach Lowe and the Hoop Collective and I listen to Bucks podcast and Heat podcast and Hawks podcast. The collective, when I listen to everybody speak about us, is that we got worse. And they say that Marcus Smart is a huge loss. And to say that now, when he was on our team, he was talked about like he was a detriment to the team. To me, that does not make sense. And there's no way that you can make that make sense.
Okay. Okay. Now, fair. That's granted. Again, that is fair. Let me ask you a question though.
Okay.
In that same, well, not the same breath, but let's just say in another breath, can those two players that one credit was getting DMPs and did not play the same how he played 2 years ago in Grant Williams, and then the other guy and Marcus, everything I said about him that you just quoted, can in that same breath or other breath, whatever, can they still be impactful or a big addition to another team?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
This isn't Marcus Smart or Grant hate. If we
Right.
could have kept them, if we could have ran the same team back, I would have done that. Like, honest to truly, to God, I'm devastated that Marcus is no longer on our team. So it's not a slight. It's a slight to the people that speak on the team. It's clear that it's just y'all are just trying to hate on something because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, like I'm listening to podcast after podcast after podcast, and nobody has said that the move has made us better. It's either been a lateral move or we've gotten worse. This is Heat podcast, the 5 Reasons, the Locked On Heat, the Locked On Bucks, the Sixer. Like a consensus around the league is that we either got worse or it was a lateral move. Nobody has said that we've gotten better. So they just had the power rankings for next year. I think we were 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And the quote tweets and all of that are, they lost Marcus Smart. I'm like, why did he move the needle like that when he played for us? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, go ahead.
I think that is a lateral move. Only because to me, the roster was never the issue. The things that we need to fix to get over the hump are things that coaching needs to be fixed and just mental mistakes that need to be fixed. The offensive and crunch time needs to be fixed. The stupid turnovers in the crunch time, like those are things that you can change the roster 50 times. If the core that's still there are still going to make those same mistakes, we're still going to lose again next year. That's just how I feel about the situation.
No.
But no, I think Marcus in Memphis is great. I think Grant in Dallas is phenomenal. I think they're going to go out and flourish. I wish we could have kept them. So it's not a diss to them at all. It's just interesting how when they were on our team and playing for us, everybody was laughing at how much Grant wanted to make and was telling us to let him walk. And everybody was saying, oh, well, we love when Marcus is playing because he just shoots us bad threes. And now that they're no longer on the team, we're just took this huge step back. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Fair. Again, everything you're saying is fair. I'll be lying if I said I have any pushbacks for everything that you're saying right now. So I don't. I understand both sides, but I more so understand your side. I can probably say that. So that's okay.
So what do you think about the move?
What do I have? What
do you think about the move?
Oh yeah, that's where I almost was about to proceed before I was giving my, and I was thinking to give my thoughts. Mm, when it first happened, to be honest, I said, okay, it is what it is. Lateral. Now taking a step back, and it's probably like what 3 weeks away now, or 4 weeks or whatever, probably even a month since it happened. Um,
Mhm.
uh, I like it. I like it for Boston and Boston favor. Whenever you have the opportunity to, and credit, this is more so. It's both. It's me liking all the things that Porzingis does on a basketball court, offensively and defensively. This is a 7'3" guy that can shoot from literally anywhere on the court. Um, One of the things I like about him is his post fadeaway that he does. To where pretty much the shot is not. You can't block it realistically. He's also a lob threat. He's a guy that rolls to the basket and finish lobs. He's not. He's not going to try to engage in physical. He's not going to run away from physicality. Physicality, I'll try to say for the most part. Um, Defensively, you already spoke on the rim protection. He does all that tremendously. In New York, he did it in Dallas. He did it in Washington, where he's coming off his best year of his career, and now he's playing alongside two All Stars in JB and Tatum, and he probably still views himself as an All Star level player. So you guys are probably deemed as the big three as well with Porzingis. With Marcus Smart, he wasn't. With Marcus Smart, he wasn't. Where I'm going with that now, that's the first side of it. Why I like it so much, and I don't think it's lateral anymore. I think it's actually better. Um, the second
But
side,
it's
yeah,
lateral.
initially it was lateral for sure. Initially it was lateral. Now I'm thinking it's more just a good move versus it being lateral, or a better move, I'll say, because after Marcus Smart, and this goes to the news I just dropped yesterday, after Marcus Smart is now out the window, you are now out the door. I'll say you're not bringing in a new starting point guard, and your new starting point guard will be Derek White. Um,
Mhm.
it's tricky because he showed what he can do offensively this season. This was probably one of his better offensive seasons, even in the playoffs. He just played. Derek White just played well to me, especially that week where he won Player of the Week. But I think he averaged like 23, 24, and 7 or something like that. So he showed he can pass the ball if need be. He showed he can score. Obviously, he showed he can shoot from the outside, and also most importantly, defend. This is a guy that I know you wanted to make the All NBA one of the defensive teams. I don't think he made the second team, or did he make it? He didn't make it. He made the second team. Okay, he made the second team. You now move from Smart to him. To me, I don't know about any other Boston fans, but as far as starting point guard aspect, that's not really that big of a drop off. Um, and then you also still have Malcolm Brogdon, and I don't know what's going on with Peyton Pritchard, but Peyton Pritchard, if he gets minutes, he can probably play well. But Malcolm Brogdon is a guy that I think I'm not going to say highly anymore because of how he played last season in that offense, but hopefully new things are tweaked in or added into the offense to where he can look a little better, I'll say. But even Malcolm Brogdon, sixth man of the year, he still had a good year as well off the bench. So let's not take that away. That's why when you look at all of those aspects, and again, I think when you was going to make a move, I did expect Boston to make a move. When you're going to make a move, everybody was looking at okay, Grant is going to go or get traded. Um, White or Brog is going to go or get traded.
Nobody in their right mind thought Derek White was going
Yeah,
anywhere.
I know, I know, I know, I know.
It
I'm just
was
saying.
Malcolm
Yeah,
and
it was
Grant,
right.
two movable pieces.
Yeah, I got you. And now you did a whole flip, and it was Marcus Smart, but you're still with White and Brock. So be it. You add Kristaps Porzingis. This is a 7'3", 20 point per game scorer who has obviously, I'm not gonna say upside because he's been in the league for some time, but obviously is an offensive threat and a defensive threat. And it gives you a different dynamic than Al Horford and Rob to me because he can. Porzingis also, and I'm not saying it too highly, don't think anything crazy, but he also can attack a closeout. And I've seen this multiple times where somebody's coming at him on the perimeter and he'll pump fake, dribble in, and just shoot the mid range shot or a sidestep 3 pointer and different things like that. Al Horford, he's getting up in age. He's been playing too much, if you ask me. Anyway, I like to see
Yeah,
him at the 20 minute.
yeah, this allows him to, I hope, go to the
20
bench.
minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. That's all he needs if you ask me. In the playoffs, if you need more, so be it. No, for real. I don't think Al Horford should play 30 minutes a night. I don't. I think he should be chilling now. 20 to 25 is okay if you ask me. 20 to 25.
Okay.
So yeah, originally lateral. Now I like it. I'm obviously a Heat fan, so I don't speak to, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But that's going to take us into the last thing of the show. Again, thank you for coming on. two star level players, superstars throughout their career, or whatever you want to say, stars, superstars, whatever, requested trades this offseason. One shocked me. The other one, I fully expected it. I called that happening this offseason. But I'll start with James Harden. Uh, they played you guys this postseason. It went seven. I think going into the series, I think you had five. Think you had five. I don't know. But either way, that doesn't matter. Going into the series, neither one of us expected it to be the series that it turned out to be.
I said it should be 5, but it'll probably be 6.
Okay. I think you said
Whatever.
that. Yeah.
You went.
Yeah. Either way, neither one of us expected the series to be what it was, but ultimately you guys went seven. I want you to speak on James Harden trade request. How do you feel about James Harden overall? And and just how do you feel about him requesting a trade this offseason?
I think the trade request is ridiculous, and I think that Daryl Morey also thinks that it's ridiculous because I don't think anybody's taking it seriously. Um, yeah, it's like you had a chance, you fell out the market, nobody wanted you, or nobody wanted to pay you what you felt you were worth. So you opted in to then request a trade to one team and try to hold Philly hostage. Like that's essentially what it's ridiculous. It's absolutely positively it's ridiculous. Nobody wanted to give you the type of money that you wanted. And it was really weird because none of the teams that had cap space really were teams that he would even, I really would think, entertain going to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did any of the contenders, none of the contenders really had cap space for him to even go there. So I think that was just ridiculous in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that he's gonna get moved unless Daryl finds something that he likes, as he should. Like, you're gonna play. If he wants to sabotage him in his play, I don't care, whatever. But I think it's ridiculous. It's what is this? The third
How do you? No, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Houston, Brooklyn, and now Philly.
Now he wants, after losing to the playoffs because he didn't show him, now he wants to go somewhere else. It's ridiculous.
How do you feel about the Clippers being reluctant to include Terrence Mann in any potential deals for James Harden?
I mean,
seems like that's the main holdup. If
yeah,
a deal to get done.
Did he even really play last year?
I think Terrence was averaging 20, 25 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a little ridiculous too. Because what the package right now is Morris and who?
Probably Norman Powell.
Yeah,
I think Norman Powell. Yeah, Terrence Mann averaged 23 minutes per game last year. Starting
who is the guy? I got him confused with somebody else. Who is the guy that they wanted to play and Ty Lue wouldn't play him?
And Ty Lue wants to play him?
Wouldn't play him.
A guy that wasn't playing at Ty Lue wouldn't play him?
The fans all wanted him to play, but Ty Lue wouldn't play him. Did I make that up? Wasn't there a guy? Okay, whatever. Maybe I made it up.
I'm thinking. I don't.
The Clipper fans like complaining about it every day, but maybe.
Yeah, but how am I not remembering that then? Let me pull up the roster real quick. As I'm looking at the roster, maybe it'll flash in my head, or if I say some names to you, maybe it'll flash in your head. Oh, Covington. You gotta be talking about Covington.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be talking about Covington. Yeah. They didn't like Marcus Morris playing over Covington. Yeah, they wanted. Yeah, so that's what that was.
But I mean, I don't really know. I don't think that first of all, let me just back up before I say that. The Sixers trying to like get a bunch of cap space for next year, I don't understand that either. Because who are they signing with this cap space?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because that's like their plan, is to get a bunch of expirings, and like they don't want to extend Maxey. The only person on the book is James Harden, and to get who? I don't understand. But I think Norman Powell and Marcus Morris for Harden is an insult. I'm sorry. Like, he's not like the playoffs, he wasn't the best. I understand it was bad. But that's ridiculous. You're getting somebody that's a 20-10 type of guy that will get you through the regular season when Kawhi and PG are ultimately gonna miss time at some point. Like, like Morris shouldn't even still be in the league. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
giving like this just ridiculous. That's not a real package.
yeah.
So
No,
I'm just you're not going nowhere, and you're gonna come back and you're gonna play because you're gonna try to get a contract. And I think it's gonna be very interesting because the same thing that we saw with Russ, I think we're gonna see with Harden. And
what you, what thing you
I think
referring to?
that's the effects of the new CBA.
What thing you referring to?
He's gonna have to take a drastic pay cut.
Uh, yeah.
I don't see right now a contending team unless he just wants to go somewhere for money. Then that's another story. But I don't see a contending team being able to pay him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
He
And
might not have to take the pay cut that Russ took, but he's gonna have to take some sort of pay cut.
right, right. I'm with you. I'm with you. I do agree with you on one thing that you said. I don't, not only one, but I don't. I do think that the Clippers not willing to include Terrence Mann for Harden is nuts to me. When you circle back and look at how your team has been built around these two guys, and Kawhi and Paul George, uh, the last 4 years, and you don't have a championship to look at. And credit, obviously injuries happen, but still, without injuries, they have some playoffs letdowns as well. Typically, or in particular, that series where they're up 3-1, I think, against the Nuggets, and you know what happened. Um, I think when you have the opportunity to get James and you lose Terrence Mann, so be it. Because Kawhi and Paul George not gonna last forever. You have the opportunity to eventually hit a reset. And now you have to look at the potential lineup of, and I don't know who the five would be, but the potential lineup of having Harden and Russ to help you. I wanted to include Russ on that because you said Harden. I also want to include Russ. Harden and Russ to help you get to the regular season when Kawhi or Paul George do miss games. I do think that's big, and I don't think you would look at, hey, say PG or Kawhi go down like you were referred to, or got to miss games. I'm just gonna say go down, but have to miss games, and it's just Russ and one of those guys, or maybe just Russ and neither one of those guys. Are you gonna say, oh hey Terrence Mann, go to work, or hey Terrence Mann, help Russ out? Nah, I think it's better if James Harden and Russ can do that versus Russ and
Show
Terrence Mann.
during the regular season.
Right. So that's just wild to me. And then as far as the Philly and James Harden, you spoke on Mendy that. I don't really got nothing to say about that. Apparently Harden and Morey relationship is strained and can't get fixed. Who blah blah blah. I don't really care.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, I understand why James
I do
is.
too. Yeah, I do too. Because he took a pay cut actually. Um,
Yeah. So like I kind of get it. And that's why you just have to make the best decision for you. Because you tried to be nice and now look what they did to you.
Speaking on that,
Yeah.
that's funny. That can lead us right into the last thing of the show. If you made it here this far, don't forget to subscribe to the Facts and Stats channel. I will definitely include Kiana's social medias on Twitter and Instagram, so make sure you give her a follow as well. But speaking on that, and also the Green Garden, shout out to them as well. For that's who she's a part with as well as far as Boston Celtics information and news. Um, that's why at the end of the day you have to do what you want. Wow.
Mhm.
That takes us right into Damian Lillard. Um, this situation is not even funny because I know so many people, and I think you were on the other fence of it, but you're on the other fence now. I don't think you thought that he was going to request a trade. I don't. Did you? I don't think you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I don't really, didn't really follow him like that. So I'm
Okay.
not like, oh, he does this every year. Like,
All right.
uh, I thought, I don't know. I don't think I had an opinion on that. I don't really care.
All right. So I know. I know so many people didn't expect him to request a trade. Me personally, I was on the other fence. I said there's no way in hell he plays in Portland again, and I thought it was real. I'm ultimately grateful. I said it again. I was speaking on my spaces a couple of minutes ago in this show. I was speaking on my Twitter spaces months back, and I'm like I'm focused on Damian Lillard. I think he's gonna request a trade this offseason. I want him to come to Miami. Dame to Miami is going to happen. Um, and everybody was saying, well, what are y'all going to trade? What are y'all going to do? Y'all can't do this. Y'all only going to offer Tyler Hero. Who wants that? Da, 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 da. And I get it. Credit. And I said, well, listen, all he has to do is come out and say, I want to go to Miami and Miami only. And thankfully, he did just that. This is my first time talking about it. I'm not going to go too long. Thankfully, he did just that. And it's all working in our favor. Obviously, the deal didn't get done yet because the Blazers owner is playing hardball. GM, whatever's playing hardball, and not really willing. Yeah, as he should, but not really willing to talk with us and negotiate. I said, but this goes to what you just said. Players should do what they
I'm
want.
glad that this.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm glad Damian Lillard is choosing now to do what he wants to do, and now it's everybody saying it's so funny because people will say, "Man, Dame needs to get out of Portland. I want to see him play meaningful playoff games again." I don't really count those games against the Warriors, even though they still were meaningful, but he couldn't really. Nobody thought they would make the finals. How about that? Nobody thought that Damian Lillard would make the finals in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Not credit. If he goes to the East, people think that Miami could probably make the finals, especially off of coming off the final appearance again. And it's just funny to me how people will want to see Dame out of Portland, but now saying that also Dame should give Portland more teams to work with. Like, why? He should do what he wants to do. And Miami is where he wants to go and who he wants to play for.
Oh, listen, I don't care if he wants to go to Miami, but for the sake of Portland trying to get the best package, he could have said Boston, just names. I don't want him in Boston. Let me just be very clear. I don't want any Miami fans coming at me. I do not want Damian Lillard at all. I'm cool. But he could have said Boston. He could have said Philly. He could have said Miami. He could have told Portland privately, listen, I'm only going to Miami. It's Miami only. But you can use these other teams to try to get the best offer that you can get. I've been here. Do me a solid. I want to go to Miami, and I want to go to Miami only. All the crap that they're doing in the media, if you want to tell them that, that's fine. But so that they can do, I'm a team person. If Jason Tatum in 3 or 4 years does the crap that Damian Lillard is doing right now, I would be so freaking livid. Burn up everything. I swear to God.
Okay.
I would be livid because I was going to curse. It screws over Portland because they don't have the option. Everybody's like a better package. They don't have the option to truly negotiate and go out in the free market to see what is out there. That option has been taken away from them. And I understand the whole, they lied to Dame and they told Dame that they'll build him a contender and they haven't done that and X, Y, and Z and ABC. Yeah, I understand that completely. And I understand the Dame portion where Dame is not dumb. I don't believe Dame is dumb. I believe that Dame could see that these aren't contenders, especially in the West. He stayed every extension and got more, the most money that he could get in the NBA. He stayed right with Portland and cashed his check every month or however the heck the pay period is. He did that, and they were in a relationship together. Portland stayed with Dame because Dame brought in ticket sales, and Dame stayed with Portland because they can pay him the most amount of money. And now it's the end of the time period. And as a team, and you can say, oh, you're not a player person. I'm not a stan. I like the Boston Celtics. If this was being done to my organization, I would be freaking livid. You can go to Miami. I don't care if you want to go to Miami. I'm a Boston fan. You can go there. I don't care. But it's really screwed up to publicly not give the organization options. It just is. And as everybody getting mad at Portland for trying to get the best deal, like, that's literally their job. That's literally their job.
Yeah, but it's that's what makes, you just said it, and that's what makes it so tricky because
Did I say anything that was incorrect?
No, you didn't. But you said something that makes it so tricky because you just said, I understand they lied to him, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, and then in the same breath you close it out.
Left.
And then the same breath you close
he
it out.
Should have been left.
But it's so easy to say that from the outside looking in. If you want to win in one situation and one situation only, you don't just up and go. When you truly want to win there, like he really wanted to win there, that's his side. That's his narrative.
Well, the pressure and the squeeze that he's trying to put on Portland right now, he should do that 5 years ago.
5? That's way too soon. 5? I mean, early.
Listen, I'm saying the pressure that he's putting on Portland to get out now is a pressure he should have been putting on them to build a good team around him.
Yeah, but nope. How
People,
often? How
people,
often? How often? No, 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 no,
what you
no.
allow them to do to you. And
How
they
often are
sat up there and played in his face consistently and gave him teams that they knew weren't going nowhere and he knew wasn't going anywhere and he stayed. He stayed.
Yeah, but and on top of that, they
He
also
chose
did. They
to
on top
stay.
of that, they also did minimal moves to where it looks as if they're really trying to do something. And then, how often do you see a guy in year 5, 6, sometimes 7? You will see it, but 5 or 6, and Dame credit, he wasn't in year 5 at the time. But how often do you see a guy in that early put pressure on an
Oh,
organization
how long has Philly been with Harden? I mean, how long
and
has
be
Embiid?
and be been in Philly since like 2013?
Okay, so it's been 10 years. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like yeah, like 2013. Let me make sure. Let me fact check that.
Okay.
2014. I'm sorry, 2014.
It's just because he sat out a couple of years, right?
Right. Yeah, they're like the first two.
Well, I don't know.
Now Embiid didn't even come out and put pressure on them yet.
Yeah, no, and that's how I was gonna. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, so that's my point. Like you said, he should have did this 5 years ago. Nobody is putting pressure on the organization to win in 5 to 7 years.
Okay. So Embiid is putting pressure now instead
Yeah,
of after now.
right.
I,
He's sort of kind of putting pressure on
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He tried to act like he was trolling. Everybody knows he was dead
yeah,
serious.
yes.
But I think that Dame could have applied more pressure to Portland to put a team around him. If this is a players' league like y'all claim it is, and he can demand trades at the drop of a hat after signing an extension, and he can demand where he goes to, and they have to send him there, I think you could put pressure on them to build a team around you. I don't understand.
That early though.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen so often that early though, because you got to look at it from his perspective. Okay, you got me a center, and I cannot remember every single move, and I'm mad I'm not gonna be able
Yeah,
to
I
remember every
can't
move.
either. So don't try
But
to give
you got me a center, in Nurkic. They traded for Nurkic. You Grant was late. I think Grant was last year. I have a running mate who's also giving me 20 plus in CJ McCollum. Um, Damn, I can't remember everything that they did multiple things. I just cannot remember. They had
they did little
yeah.
things to try to appeal. I fully admitted
So
that
you
they were both playing each other. That
okay?
is
There
how
we go. There we go. But Dame wasn't playing though. He was dead serious. That's where he wanted to win. How was he playing?
okay. If he really wanted to win a ring, he would have left there a long time ago. That's all I have to say.
He wanted to. Yes, he wants to win a ring, but he wants to win. He wanted to win a ring in Portland
Okay,
though.
we're not seriously building a contender around him. I mean, it's just listen, the pressure that he's applying to get out. I'm saying if he would apply a little bit more pressure, maybe he could have had a contender around him.
Okay.
But to just
Okay.
be on my position, I do not care that he wants to go to Miami. I just honestly, at this point, I'm sick of y'all whining on my timeline every day. I want the trade to happen. It's just now we're whining about Dwayne Wade against X, Y, and Z. It's just every day it's a new topic to
Yeah, but
whine on.
every day Celtics fans are being shady on my timeline. I mean, but
Whole freaking India. I have
uh,
Dame muted. I have a bunch of crap muted, and it's still a new.
as you should, because Boston fans are very shady and they feel a type of way. But
But
it's
I just think you publicly give a list. You use I negotiate for a living. You use other offers to get a better offer, and you understand, and they understand. He's only going to Miami, and you get it done that way. But what he's doing now is I don't agree with it at all.
but I don't agree with Portland and how they're going about it either, because I think at the end of the day, a fair trade. As long as Portland gets, I'll say 4, but 3 to 4 first round draft picks, and can probably even get off Nurkic's contract on top of Dame contract, because they don't. Me personally, I don't think there's that move by. I need to acquire a young asset because they have 2 damn good ones, really 3, and could be 4 with Chris Murray, Keegan Murray's brother. For those that don't know,
They can only get a young asset to flip it.
so oh yeah, well that could work too. Shit, take at that point. Clearly, teams have been fake. Teams have been rumored in Tyler Hero. Obviously, you have the Nets, you had the Spurs, you had a couple of other teams that were rumored with. Okay, I will give you a first round draft pick for Tyler Hero, and I think longer they walk away with 4 first round draft picks and whatever the case may be, they should be perfectly fine. I don't think like
So the players don't matter, whatever.
it, the young asset you talking about.
The players, whoever they are, if they're not going to get Hero, they're not going to get that
The
young
players don't
like
matter to me, not that much. No, that's what you're saying. Nah, the players don't matter that much to me because at the end of the
well,
day, you got the guys you want to proceed with.
yeah, I also think it just depends on what matters to Portland. I think that's like people keep saying, well, they should be fine with well, it depends on what they value. Just like, to another team, Tyler Hero may be a great asset that they want, but to Portland, just what with who they already have on the team, Tyler Hero is not something that they value.
Right,
So
but
I,
they go ahead, go ahead. If they had Tyler Hero, they damn sure would be able to trade him though. And if not, that's why you work a 3 or 4 team trade. But if you feel otherwise, I see you make faces. So I mean, hey, I mean,
I don't think Tyler Hero is as movable as people would like to say, but which is why I think it has to be a multi. I don't think they want to be stuck with Tyler Hero.
yeah, and credit, I do think it'll be a multi-team trade whenever it does get done. If it gets done, I'm still obviously praying that it do get done.
I don't know why it's taking so long, but I
Yeah,
think it'll.
I'm ready. I think around training camp time, things will speed up. But ultimately, Kiana, we got your word. You're not worried if the Heat get Damian Lillard, and you did not want Dame in Boston anyway. So thank you because I want him in Miami. But that will conclude this episode. Thank you so much for coming on. Anything you got to say to close it out?
No, that's it. Follow. It's the Green Garden, THEE Green Garden on Twitter, and then he'll drop my handle as well.
All right. Thank you so much again for coming on.